Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom.
which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another Holy Convocation that Yahweh has enjoined to us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. As we look and do the things that Yahweh has given unto us, a lot of times those things we get a little bit lax, not understanding that there's a certain way that holy things have to be dealt with. When you get right down to it, some of the biggest problems that Israel ever had, it was because we dealt with holy things in a fashion to where those things just became regular unto us. We know the things that we've heard in Christianity, the whole come as you are type thing. And it has gotten people to believe that the gospel, the word, needs to bend to where people are. And you may get a different level and things like that depending on where you are in your learning. But in no way, shape, fashion, or form does Yahweh change his holy setup because of our lack of understanding or lack of a will to bend to the things that he has set forth. When you deal with Uzzah touching that ark, he didn't do anything wrong. He, as far as intent wise, he meant a good thing. They put the ark on a cart and it shook, and he touched it to keep it from falling over. The problem was that ark was Yahweh's seat. It was the place where Yahweh communed with the children of Israel. And it didn't matter who you were or what happened. When he touched it, he defiled it. When you touch something, it is synonymous with changing. He touched Yahweh's seat, and no one can touch Yahweh's seat. And for that reason, the angel slew him. Now, King David realized that he had not set up things correctly by leaving this thing on this cart. And eventually, thank you, brother. Eventually, David acknowledged that it was his fault that Uzzah died. And this is the difference of where the priest stands versus where the people come in at. If the priest allows those things, then it falls on his hand, on his head, to the point where the angel of Yahweh then deals with him because of what he has allowed. King David realized that that breach on Uzzah was his fault. The Levites were supposed to carry the ark. It should have never been on that cart. And these are things that we have to consider. There are a whole lot of things that have been set in an incorrect order. We don't get to, that's why, you have a lot of people talking about how they're going to visit Israel and do all of these things. We're not in control in Israel. So when the real children of Israel get back to that land, there are some things that we're going to have to put in order. Just because it was there and it was like that when you got there, you don't get to leave it like that. They have the biggest gay parades ever happens in Israel. That can't stay there when we get there. You don't get to just say, well, it was like this when I got here. What do you think you got there for? So there's some things that we have to understand. And if we're going to deal with what Yahweh has as righteousness, that means you're going to have to step outside of your own feelings for a second and stop thinking about what is convenient and what is okay with you, and deal with what is ordained by the Elohim of Israel. But before we get started, brother, would you read the oracles and entreat the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may make this a holy convocation. Now, we do this every week, and people, a lot of times, even when people hear it and they understand that we invite the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us, this is what makes a holy convocation holy. So we have to be careful with the things that come out of our mouths. We have to be careful with the things that we're doing, because you're doing those things in the presence of Yahweh's holy angel. See, we don't get that when we look at a lot of these televangelists and the things that people are putting on TV, because they're running up and down the aisle and they dancing and they going through all of these things, and it looked like a party just on Sunday morning. That's not what Yahweh has given us. And when we read about the Holy Spirit, we don't read about somebody catching it and they scream and take off running and they start dancing and foaming at the mouth. That sounds like they got a demon. When we read in this book, when people get the Holy Spirit, they understand things that they didn't understand before. They are able to do things that they were not able to do before. They are able to withstand even attacks against their name, character, likeness, things that they were not able to accept before. All of a sudden they can accept it. That's what the Spirit does for you. Not make you take off running down the aisle. And we ain't got that much room in here. You take off running, you gonna knock down a camera or something, and we ain't gonna have that up in here. But it's also apparent when there is a lack of the Spirit. When there is a lack of the Spirit, people can't take one thing being said to them. When there's a lack of Spirit, soon as somebody gets angry, they out the door. You can tell. Keep your eyes and your ears open, and you can see where the Spirit is, and you can also see where the Spirit is not. Brother, go ahead and read the oracles and entreat the angel, please.
1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you.
This seems to be really difficult for some of us. We really want the forgiveness of Yahweh, but somehow it seems to be very difficult for us to forgive others and work through any issues that we may encounter. I mean, did you guys watch the Olympic thing and see all of the different countries and all of those things that were marching in and whatnot? You have to understand, did you see how many different places Israel have been scattered to? Did you see how many people in there look just like you? Mm-hmm. But they were from different countries? Yeah. The ship dropped them at a different spot. Well, guess what? They all coming with a different way that they do something. And Yahweh has to work all of that out. So if you don't have any skills whatsoever in conflict management and you're not trying to get any, why are you here? Don't you understand that when all of these different people and they got their part of the word and the things that they done learn, all of us gonna get dropped off in the same place? So what you think that's gonna be like? And don't get it twisted. While all that's happening, you still got them Kung Fu Hebrews that's gonna be dropped off too. So they out there trying to teach karate, and we trying to teach the word. You need to be working on your conflict management skills now. But if you're gonna take off and seclude yourself in a corner, you're never going to grow. We got a job ahead of us. We don't just get to go to Israel and then we all just gonna hold hands and sing Kumbaya Yahweh and hey, we no. Man was given the garden because he had a job to do. All y'all y'all keep looking at me like I'm the only one that got a job. I don't think you understand what's happening here. I ain't the only one that got a job. You getting prepared for one. You need to act like you're in job training. Go ahead.
Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as dear children, and walk in love, as the Messiah also have loved us, and has given himself for us, an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. This is why you have to watch the words that are coming out of your mouth, and even pay attention to how you approach unto Yahweh. You can't approach unto Yahweh any old kind of way. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you up on earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him.
Right. We have a lot of misunderstanding on these things. When you talk about, this is what was told to Moshe. Behold, I send an angel before you to lead you in the way and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him. Obey his voice. He speaks in the name of Yahweh. So this was the direction that was given unto him. When you read in Revelation and you read all of the things about those 7 churches, you keep finding that there was an angel over each church. So there's a code of conduct that the children of Israel are supposed to have. And when you read the things in the New Testament, when it talks about the woman must have power on her head because of the angels, you have a lot of people that just don't want to accept that. But understand, the angel was there in the wilderness. The angel is there in all of our church organizations that are approved, that are set up the way that they're supposed to be set up. There's an angel over that congregation. So what make you think you can do anything you want and operate any kind of way that you want? And if the person in charge allow it, Yahweh gonna get him too. My elder taught for over 45 years, and what he said in his last days was, I let some stuff go on too long, and Yahweh handed me my hat because of it. I like my hat right where it is. Go ahead, bro.
Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. Everybody does not have an ear to hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. There are some that we can read the same things over and over, and they will still ask, but why? And what causes you not to be able to hear? That emotional attachment to one's previous and prior life, that emotional attachment won't allow you to see the truth. See, when people don't want to see the truth, emotional attachment is what will do it for you. It will help you stay in neutral. And as everybody else moves forward, that emotion will keep you in neutral to where all you can do is coast. You have absolutely no pulling power whatsoever. Let's begin today's sermon in Leviticus chapter 23. And we're going to read verses 1 through 3. Leviticus 23 and verses 1 through 3. And today's sermon is entitled Holy Convocation.
Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of Yahweh, which you shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts.
Now, I understand when we look at the word holy in Strong's, it is H6944, and the word is Kodesh. The definition says a sacred place or thing, rarely abstractly sanctity, consecrated, dedicated, hallowed, holiness, holy, saint or sanctuary. Kodesh. Go ahead.
Verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Shabbat of rest, and holy convocation. You shall do no work therein. It is the Shabbat of Yahweh in all your dwellings.
All right, convocation in Strong's is H4744, and it is mikra, which means something called out. That is a public meeting, an assembly, calling, or reading. So you have Kodesh Mikra, holy convocation. So you see this part of convocation is this public gathering, this assembly. This is where you can deal with, a lot of times all we have to do is slow things down, because when we get to the misteaching that we received in Christianity, they tried to say, especially when they get the vain gainsaying about the Sabbath, every day is holy. Oh, Monday's holy, Tuesday's holy, and they get to running all them little games, right? Verse 3 says, 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Shabbat of rest and holy convocation. See, that wasn't said about all the other days. So what happened is you let people throw you off by their dancing and that funny talking that they do. Start breathing all funny, and then you start paying attention to the breathing funny, and you miss the part that you're supposed to be paying attention to. No other day was called an holy convocation. No other day was set for there to be a holy convocation. It says all of these days you may do work, 6 days. The seventh is a day of rest. Now, the Sabbath can't be on every day. That means you resting every day. What are you resting from if you ain't doing nothing? The seventh day is a Sabbath, and it is the day that you should have your Kodesh Mikra. It is the day that you shall have your holy assembly, your holy gathering. That's what we are doing here today. A holy convocation. See, you can't have a holy convocation on Sunday unless a holy day falls on that day. That's it. So everybody that thinks they have had a holy convocation coming out of Christianity, you ain't never had a holy convocation. See, the first thing is convincing people, because a lot of people come with their arrogance already, because they think I already been doing this stuff. No, you ain't, boo-boo. You ain't been doing none of this. First of all, you was baptized in the name of Jesus, which is equivalent to being baptized in the name of Howdy Doody. Okay? It has no spiritual weight whatsoever. And you ain't never kept a holy convocation going on Sunday. It does matter which day it's done on. It is amazing that people have all their personal preferences, but then when they get to the things of this book, all of a sudden, certain things don't matter. Yet your personal stuff matter. Somebody call them out of their name, they get upset. Somebody forget your anniversary, they get upset. Somebody forget your birthday, they get upset. But then we start talking about the things of this book, Well, that don't matter. Interesting. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3.
Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mount of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burnt with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt.
Now that is common. All of us would want to do that. There's a bush that's on fire, but it ain't burnt. Let me go investigate. That's your common thought. See, I keep trying to tell people, your common thought ain't got nothing to do with righteousness. See, the first thing that come to your mind ain't necessarily righteous. Think about it. When that ark shook and he put his hand up, it moved really quick. Yahweh didn't stop him. His life ended. Now, here, his automatic thought process. Let me go investigate. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near hither.
Right, don't come over here. See, those are instructions. You got people that want to come to this word, but don't think that instructions should apply to them. And Yahweh tells you from the beginning of this word, there are instructions. This is his introduction into the word. There are instructions. He gives this man this beautiful sight that he can't make sense of. Something, he done seen fire, and he know, hey man, that thing supposed to be burnt up. I know enough about fire. That's enough to get your attention. And then automatically, don't come over here. How you gonna show me something like that and tell me don't come over here? That thing on fire, it ain't burnt up. Yeah, I know, stand right there. Don't come over here. Go ahead.
Put off your shoes from off your feet.
Instructions. You have people, we do not wear our shoes in the sanctuary. We have a shoe rack in the front for people to remove their shoes. But sometimes you have people that come in with some 9-later gators and they don't want to leave their gators up front. Well, I won't take my shoes with me. You ain't gonna wear them up in here. And if I let you wear them up in here, y'all ain't gonna be looking at me crazy. Good?
But you know what's interesting about that? They'll come and fight you and argue with you of why I can't come in. But do you go to someone's home and disrespect their house like that?
Most of us do, because we don't know anybody of a different culture. But you go to any other cultures. See, me and Brother Kish deal with people of different cultures all the time. And the same shoe rack that you see, well, it ain't that big, but the same kind of shoe rack that you see in that lobby, these people have those at their front door and in their garage. They don't wear shoes in their houses. And they have things that you remove your shoes before you even walk in their house. So businesses started giving people who work, start giving them shoe covers and things like that so you can walk around in their house, because that's their culture, and it is disrespectful for you to wear your shoes walking in their house. You might be done stepped on all kind of dog poo. And you gonna bring that poo in their house? Go ahead.
For the place whereon you standeth is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the El of Abraham, the El of Isaac, and the El of Jacob.
And this is why we pray in such manner. So do understand that Lucifer is a god. Lucifer told Yahshua, all is given unto me, and I will give unto whom I will. Just bow down and worship me. Yahshua said, Yahweh your Elohim only shall you worship. So Lucifer has the power to give you whatever it is you ask for. So you might want to be careful as to who it is you pray to. Or if you leave one of them open-ended prayers, when people end up praying to God, oh man, Lucifer all up in that. You prayed to God? Did somebody call me? Did somebody call me? How you doing? What it is you need? Yeah, I got that for you. Yeah, right. He got it for you. Oh, it's some strings attached. But he'll give it to you. He'll give it to you. And he got the power to give it to you. See? And Yahweh was the one that gave him the power. Why do you think he said, have you considered my servant Job? You know what kind of power he got? So if you open up yourself and you want something so bad, Lucifer will give it to you. Just keep asking them open-ended prayers that ain't got nobody's name in it. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, here come Lou. Here come Lou, I got you. You finished that, brother?
And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim.
All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 5. Yeah, you might want to be careful with those prayers that are non-specific. That can't nobody tell who you talking to. Now I need Lucifer to understand. Look here, man. I don't want you to answer this. I know you got some good stuff and you got your money. I mean, you bank like Hank. But look here, I don't want you to give me nothing. Now I'm asking the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Yahweh, my Elohim. That's who I'm asking. I'm not asking nobody else. Because I don't want nobody else to answer. Joshua chapter 5, and we're going to read that from verse 1 through chapter 6 and verse 4.
And it came to pass, when all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that Yahweh had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted, neither was their spirit in them any more, because of the children of Israel. At that time Yahweh said unto Joshua, make you sharp knives, and circumcise again the children of Israel the second time.
Right. See, people don't understand. This is a thing that was given unto the children of Israel. Circumcision wasn't given unto the Gentiles. So what people then start reading the New Testament, and they really don't understand what's going on. Circumcision was not given unto them. Circumcision was given to Israel. That's why, it was not a big thing if any of the other nations did not get circumcised. They were not Israel. So people end up reading this New Testament because they really don't have a foundation and didn't get a teacher in those things. They're going off with these half assumptions, and it leads you to a whole nother doctrine. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Yahshua made him sharp knives, and circumcised the children of Israel at the hill of the foreskins. And this is the cause why Yahshua did circumcise all the people that came out of Egypt that were males, even all the men of war, died in the wilderness by the way, after they came out of Egypt. Now all the people that came out were circumcised, but all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt, them they had not circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed, because they obeyed not the voice of Yahweh.
So Yahweh just put everything on hold. Those people could have still been circumcised. They understand that there was a circumcision given. They understand those things. Yahweh put everything on pause. Pause until every last one of them died off. Then once he got rid of all of them, he pressed the pause button again. All right, go. Now go and do that thing that y'all saw 40 years ago. You know that stuff? Yeah, start back there. Y'all ain't not going to run out of time. You the one going to run out of time. So you can keep playing hardball all you want. You can be tough or you can be one tough cookie. Go ahead. Yahweh going to show you how to make a cookie crumble. Go ahead.
Unto whom Yahweh sware that he would not show them the land, which Yahweh sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey.
And Yahweh not just going to give you his land and you going to come in there any old kind of way. What people fail to realize, we did not receive this organized law until we were about to be given a land. If you're not going to follow law, then you go ahead and stay captive. That's what people in jail are. There are people who didn't follow the law. Captivity is given for people who don't follow the law. So if you like not having any rules, just stay here and stay in mental, spiritual captivity, and you may end up staying in spiritual captivity or physical captivity to your death. But for those that want to be free, that's what the law is. But what people don't understand, they want to switch that around because they take this animal sacrifice and apply it to all law and say all law is done away with. Yahweh has a code of conduct for the children of Israel. All law cannot ever be done away with. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Yahshua chapter 5 and verse 7. And their children whom they raised up in their stead, them Yahshua circumcised. For they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way. And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. And Yahweh said unto Yahshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho.
Check this out. And it came to pass, verse 8, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole. So after they healed, and Yahweh said unto Yahshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. So as long as there was still one man living among the men of war from that first generation, the reproach was still upon all of Israel. So I don't think we understand what's going on. The very last one had to die off before they entered back into that covenant. That circumcision is a covenant. After that, after every last one of them is gone, then he enters back into a covenant with them, but not until every last one of them had died off. See, this is how we can defile one another. See, we don't understand when that one brother decided that he saw a Babylonish garment and a wedge of gold. He liked that stuff and he coveted it and took it and hid it under his tent. Everybody was defiled. He was the only one that stole, but he defiled everybody. So let's say we have an order here. And somebody said, well, you know what, I just don't think I need to follow the order. Should the whole congregation be defiled because one person just feel like they don't think they should follow any of the rules? Yahweh didn't step away from just the man who stole the Babylonish garment. He stepped away from all Israel and then got on Yahshua. Like, hey man, Yahshua on his, because understand, like about 30 people died in a little old bitty war that they were supposed to be winning. This was like a little battle. They were just supposed to go up there and just slap them people up. They were like, look, don't even send everybody, man. You can go over here and body slam these folk over here. They went up there and 30 people got killed. Why? Because one dude stole something. One dude. And out of the 30 people, guess what? He wasn't even the one to get killed. Now, he the one that stole it. But he wasn't one of the 30 who got killed. So then here come Yahshua, all on his knee, all face all on the ground, crying to Yahweh. And the angel like, get up! What you crying for? 30 people can't. Which way you ask me that question? Israel have sinned. He expected Yahshua to know. What you whining for? Israel has sinned. Now, unless you find that thing and find that person, I will be with you no more. Now go take care of that business. And he had to go tribe to tribe, family to family, person to person, until he found who stole the Babylonish garment and the wedges of gold, remove it, deal with that person, then the angel came back amongst them. So A little thing my elder used to say all the time. Check your demon at the door. There's a coat rack, a shoe rack, and maybe we need to put a little sign, demon rack. Take your demon off and check him at the door. Now make sure you take him when you leave back out now. Don't leave him run around up in here. Check your demon at the door. We ain't got time to be chasing your fun all around the building here. We got a lot of rooms in there. Go ahead, bro.
As men and priests of our household on a smaller scale, lets us know that we should be involved in a lot of what goes on in our house. Chaos starts happening, you might want to figure out who in this house did what.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he expected Joshua to know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it threw me off first time I read it. What first name Joshua for? Joshua ain't did that. My elder told me when he put me in charge of a department, he said, son, it's your fault. I said, what's my fault? He said, exactly. I said, man, what you talking about? Hey, that's what I'm talking about, son. What are you talking about? It's your fault. What? That's right. So, man, it don't make no sense. Exactly. What are you talking about? Everything, son. Everything is your fault. You in charge, right? Yeah. Everything your fault. Don't come back to me whining. Don't come back to me talking about this happened. Don't come back to me talking about, well, see where her ham was. You know, that's how all our stories. See where her ham was. He said, no, it's your fault. I got it. And who did he come to? He came to the man in charge. He didn't go to the dude who stole it. He came to the man in charge. No. You gonna find who defiled the congregation of Israel. Because that's what that was. The congregation of Israel. Who defiled the congregation of Israel? I'm going to make you find it. And you going to get rid of it. I ain't going to do it. You going to do it. Why? Because you the man with the charge. Go ahead.
Joshua chapter 5 and verse 11. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day. And the manna ceased on the morning after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and, behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him, and said unto him, Are you for us, or for our adversaries?
Right, he saw a man. He didn't see a winged being. He didn't see nothing of that nature. He saw a man. Go ahead.
And he said, No, but as the captain of the host of Yahweh, I am now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my master unto his servant?
Right. What says my master unto his servant? He bowed down. The man got a sword in his hand, and he bowed down and put his face to the earth. Go ahead.
And the captain of Yahweh's host said unto Joshua, Loose your shoe from off your foot, for the place whereon you standeth is holy. And Joshua did so.
Right. They didn't sit there and try to argue. Well, you know, these are the finest sandals that money could buy. I don't understand. I mean, I know you captain of the host and everything. But, I mean, have you seen look at this leather made from Angus. Yeah. I don't think that's the best leather. That's the best leather, yeah. You want me to take these off? Each one of them obeyed immediately when they were told, hey, this holy ground, remove your shoes. Go ahead.
Now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out, and none came in. And Yahweh said unto Joshua, See, I have given into your hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And you shall compass the city, all you men of war, and go around about the city once. Thus shall you do 6 days. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day you shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets.
Now consider something. You know, this was a city that was not known for any righteousness whatsoever. So as Joshua was at this place, and as Moshe was at another place, and each time they are being told to remove their shoes, the wicked people of the land that was there before didn't remove their shoes. See, we have to understand something when the angel is present in the situation. You don't get to behave the same way as you did before the angel was present. See, Moshe was told, beware of him. He will not pardon your transgression. At the same time, Yahweh telling Moshe, hey, you have been chosen for this job, man. You know, here go this little special stick here. Throw it down on the ground, it's going to turn into a snake. Pick it back up, it's going to turn back to a stick. You can do all these miracles. Then right after that, the angel was like, oh, I'm about to kill you. Because you ain't got them kids circumcised. See, it doesn't matter what way you stand with Yahweh. You don't get to bypass the order. It doesn't work like that. Matter of fact, the higher up you are, the more strict Yahweh is. So for all you newbies, do as much stupid stuff as you can right now. You go right ahead. Because I'm trying to tell you, your level of stupid is going to diminish. Because he might accept a certain amount of stupid in your first year after that baptism. That second year, all of a sudden, you're going to start getting slammed on your head for the same stupid stuff you were doing last year. Why? Because, all right, you do the same thing to a baby. The baby do something stupid. You say, what that baby? Look at that baby. Yeah, that baby did something stupid. Yes, he did. When that baby get about 3 or 4, you ain't singing no more praises. Hey, man, stop doing that, boy. What's wrong with you? That daddy phone, that costs money now. Y'all ain't gonna do the same way. He gonna let you do something stupid that first year or so, but after that, you don't get to keep being stupid. You got to grow. And there's a growth pattern that's supposed to be there. You know, everybody's not gonna grow on the same level, but there's certain things that he automatically expects from you. When you look at a kid and he 5 years old and he can't say his name or something like that, then you know, hey, the development has not happened here. Then I got to work on certain things. Yahweh the same way. If you're doing the same things that you were doing in your old life, there's something wrong, that your development ain't there. Go ahead.
Yeshua chapter 6 and verse 5. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet...
That's all we're going to do right there. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. See, in the New Testament, it is written, be you renewed in the spirit of your mind. How can you be renewed in the spirit of your mind if you're doing all the same things that you were doing before? Unless a man be born again, he shall not enter into the kingdom. Exodus 19, and let's start that at verse 1.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For all the earth is mine.
Right. There are stipulations. There are stipulations given. You shall be a peculiar people above all other people if you do the stuff that I'm telling you to do. But what most people like to do is they like to just go around and have these Israelite pep rallies and talk about how they Israel. But they ain't going to do nothing that's written in this book. And then the things that they don't like, they going to argue about. But they still walk around and, we're special people, peculiar treasure. Yeah, that's us. Yeah, but you ain't doing nothing you supposed to be doing. You ain't no peculiar treasure. You're just peculiar. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests.
A kingdom of priests. This was ordained for Israel in the beginning. Although we have one tribe that was given the priesthood, and that's the Levites. But understand at this point, it's only given unto Israel. But Yahweh knows he's going to open this up for the rest of his creation on the earth. So then the children of Israel will be a kingdom of priests dealing with the rest of the people of the earth. Go ahead.
And an holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came then called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yahweh hath spoken we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahweh.
Right. We agree. We agree. Everything you said, we gonna do that stuff. We agree. I do. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever.
Look, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you. This for the people. See, him and Moshe can deal. I understand now. He didn't appear to Moshe privately all day long. But you know, Jake gonna quit. How I know Yahweh talk to you? I ain't see. Give us some evidence that Yahweh talk to you. What'd he say? How he said it? Did he speak soft? How he speak? What did his voice sound like? Right? So he said, look, I'm going to do this publicly, so you ain't going to have no problems out of these people. You still going to have problems out of them, because we real forgetful hearers. Go ahead.
And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai.
Right. On the third day, Yahweh is going to come down and commune with the people. So you don't get to come before Yahweh any old kind of way. Sanctify them today and tomorrow. Have them be ready against the third day. Don't lay with your wives. Stay spiritually clean. I'm going to then commune with them. Now imagine if one of them brothers just said, well, no, man, I just want to be nasty. So you think Yahweh gonna let that slide just because one of them want to be nasty? Now the whole congregation supposed to be defiled because one person want to go before Yahweh in his funkiness? That ain't gonna work. You can't go stand before Yahweh any old kind of way. Yahweh is the one who's supposed to be glorified in the Holy Convocation. That's why we have, there are things that we read every week, that there's a dress code in here. Brothers can't come up in here with their pants hanging down, showing their pretty drawers. I don't want to see you draw. Yahweh don't want to see you draw. Your shirt need to come past your loins. Sisters can't come in here with all the butts hanging out. Don't wear makeup on the Sabbath day. That right there pretty much, man, there are people that have so much problem on that. What you mean you don't wear makeup? They don't wear makeup so long that they get really upset. The only one that's supposed to be glorified on the Sabbath day is Yahweh. You can't let your glory sit for one day. You can't let your glory sit so that Yahweh can be glorified. Now Yahweh got to compete with your glory. That ain't gonna work. Your glory tomorrow. This day ain't your day. This day is his. Let him have his day. The very people, when it's their little birthday or their anniversary, they'll tell you, it's my day today. Everything got to go my way today. Right. What is Yahweh day? Why he got to compete with you? Go ahead.
Exodus chapter 19 and verse 12. And you shall set bonds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man.
Whether it be beast or man, Yahweh is going to descend on this mountain, and once he sits on it, you can't touch it. There ain't no special rules for none of y'all. If it's a man or a beast, if they touch it, they need to be thrust through. See, this explains why Uzzah had to be thrust through. That was Yahweh's seat. You don't get to touch that. Go ahead.
It shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moshe went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes.
Right. Now, being the leader, he got to make sure. Hey, man, wash your clothes. The man wanna, well, see this right here, I ain't really wear it that much, the other day, so really it's clean. Hey, bro, wash the clothes, or I'm gonna have one of these big brothers slam you on your head. Now, wash the clothes, man. Last thing you want is Yahweh pulling you to the side. Hey, man, did I tell you to tell them wash their clothes? I did. Well, why I smell that brother over there? He told me he didn't wear it that much. Right. No. Now, wash the clothes, man, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch and make sure all y'all wash them clothes. Go ahead.
And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives.
Nah, you got them brothers. Wait a minute. Now, what they got to do with being holy? It's my wife here. What you talking about? Bruh. Now on that, I ain't gonna be in there watching to see what you're doing, but I tell you what, if Yahweh strike you down, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people was in the camp trembled. Was in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim. And they stood at the nether part of the mount.
At the nether part of the mount. Go ahead.
And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moshe spake, and Elohim answered him by a voice. And Yahweh came down upon Mount Sinai, on the top of the mount, and Yahweh called Moshe up to the top of the mount, and Moshe went up.
Understand that there are, this is where people have to understand that there are different levels with Yahweh, and you can't assume that you have a position of authority that you don't have. Go ahead.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yahweh to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which came near to Yahweh, sanctify themselves, lest Yahweh break forth upon them. And Moshe said unto Yahweh, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you charged us, saying, Set bounds about the mount, and sanctify it. And Yahweh said unto him, Away, get you down, and you shall come up, you and Aaron with you. But let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto Yahweh, lest he break forth upon them.
Right. Order. Now, Moshe is told, then let Aaron, who is the high priest, then let him come up. So you got order here in dealing with these things of Yahweh. You can't do those things any old kind of way. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 10. Leviticus chapter 10, and we're going to read verses 1 through 3.
Verse 1. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense thereon, and offered strange fire before Yahweh, which he commanded them not. And there went out fire from Yahweh, and devoured them, and they died before Yahweh. Then Moshe said unto Aaron, This is it that Yahweh spake, saying, I will be sanctified in them that come near me.
I will be sanctified in them that come near me. You don't get to come and do as you desire to do. Go ahead.
So in this situation, we had two people take a job on themselves which they had no idea how to carry out the job.
Exactly. And people do it all the time. Folk don't like rules, so they say, you know what? I'm going to teach myself. Now, they don't know nothing about teaching. They haven't been taught anything. And they go out and mislead somebody else, not knowing that those people's blood are on their hands as well as their own blood. Go ahead.
And before all the people I will be glorified. And Aaron held his peace.
Right. Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron. And Aaron, that's the beginning of verse 1. At the end of verse 3 says, and Aaron held his peace. Two of his boys done got killed. But he shut his mouth. He know why they got killed. Let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 26.
Some people, that would have been enough for them to quit the job. I ain't doing this job no more.
Right. I know Yahweh just didn't kill my boys. Just because they said some incense wrong. I ain't gonna worship Yahweh no more. Now. Like we heard Yahweh. To some people, you're right, bro. That would have been it. That would have been it. That would have been the end of their worship there. Yahweh did this. No. Your disobedient boys did this. See? This is what your disobedient boys did. Deciding that they were going to thrust themselves into this level of the priesthood. Because there are different levels of even the priesthood. There's different levels of gifts and there's different levels of responsibilities. You don't assume a job that has not been given to you. 2 Chronicles chapter 26, and let's start that at verse 1.
Then all the people of Yehudah took
Uzziah,
who was 16 years old, and made him king in the room of his father Amaziah. He built Ethloth and restored it to Yehudah. After that the king slept with his fathers. 16 years old was Uzziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Yekaliah of Jerusalem.
Now, if a 16-year-old came to reign in this land, we'd all be in trouble. Because everybody, he probably just make a law. Everybody got to show their draw. Everybody paying got to be down to their knee. These kids don't even know how to talk to each other because they just text everything. They won't you tell that brother? I just told him. What you mean? I ain't see your mouth on. How you tell? I texted to him. It has this phone has created a whole generation of people that don't even know how to communicate with one another. You look at people. How is it that you don't know how to talk to your neighbor? How is it that you don't know how to communicate? People don't even know that they don't know how to communicate. And they look at you like, what's wrong with you? I know how to talk. And see, some people, they can't talk openly looking at somebody else's face. Why? Because when you text, you ain't got to look at nobody. You in your house. They rather text. See, it's easy to text. You don't have to look in a person's face. See, you can feel emotion within a conversation and feel that person is not feeling the things that you're saying. You can't tell that in a text. So people just keep going. They just going. They don't know, what has happened. If Jake could, Jake would text their prayers so they wouldn't even have to say them. Not understanding that, where's your commitment with Yahweh? What are you going to promise to do with him? See, there's some things here that we're going to have to deal with. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that his father Amaziah did. And he sought Elohim in the days of Zechariah, who had understanding in the visions of Elohim. And as long as he sought Yahweh, Elohim made him to prosper.
As long as he did what he was supposed to do. Go ahead.
And he went forth and warred against the Philistines, and brake down the wall of Gath, and the wall of Yabneh, and the wall of Ashdod, and built cities about Ashdod and among the Philistines. And Elohim helped him against the Philistines and against the Arabians that dwelt in Gerbal, and the Mehanims, and the Ammonites, gave gifts to Uzziah, and his name spread abroad even to the entering in of Egypt, for he strengthened himself exceedingly. Moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate, and at the valley gate, and at the turning of the wall, and fortified them. Also he built towers in the desert, and digged many wells, for he had much cattle, both in low country and in the plains, husbandmen also, and vine dressers in the mountains, and in Carmel, for he loved husbandry. Moreover, Uzziah had an host of fighting men that went out to war by bands, according to the number of their account by the hand of Yael the scribe, and Messiah the ruler, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the king's captains. The whole number of the chief of the fathers of the mighty men of valor were 2,600. And under their hand was an army, 300,000 and 7,500, that made war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for them throughout all the host shields, and the spears, and helmets, and habergeons, and bows, and slings to cast stones. And he made in Jerusalem engines, invented by cunning men, to be on the towers and upon the bulwarks, to shoot arrows at great stones withal, and his name spread far abroad, for he was marvelously helped till he was strong.
Right, so everything is working his way. Go ahead.
But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction, for he transgressed against Yahweh his Elohim, and went into the temple of Yahweh to burn incense upon the altar of incense.
Right. And this is what normally happens when people get lifted up, and people walk in lifted up because things have worked for them in their natural lives. Because they got a certain amount of money and a certain amount of prestige. That now it's okay if they transgress against Yahweh. No, that's not going to work. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him 80 priests of Yahweh that were valiant men. And they withstood Uzziah the king, and said unto him.
Now, this is a hard thing to do. Now, this is the king. This is the man in charge. But Yahweh has separated the kingship from the priesthood. Those are different callings. And the king don't have any power inside of the holy things. Go ahead.
It appertaineth not unto you, Uzziah, to burn incense unto Yahweh, but to the priests, the sons of Aaron, that are consecrated to burn incense.
Right. The priests, pay attention, but to the priests that are consecrated to burn incense. Everybody can't burn incense. So people don't understand that. Just because, oh, this person is a priest, they get to do, no. What was your specific job as a priest? You don't just because you're a priest, you get to do everything. That's not how this is set up. See, there's order here. And a lot of times when people looking at things, they think that a lot of this, oh, that's Esau order. Again, okay, what Esau said, you can't do such a thing. No. Yahweh said that. So you mad at the wrong person. So you get mad at Yahweh. Tell him how angry you are. Don't. See, I'm the person you see. This is why King David said, remember that I've been made to bear the reproach of those that hate you. See, people don't know they hate Yahweh. When you hate his order, you hate him. Be mad about it. Tell him how angry you are. He helps you. But I'm going to stand over here. Way over here. Go ahead.
Go out of the sanctuary, for you have trespassed. Neither shall it be for your honor from Yahweh Elohim. Then Uzziah was angry, and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was angry with the priest...
Now he angry with the priest. He angry with the priest because the priest won't let him do what he want to do. People do it every day. They do it every day. I stop somebody from doing something, they got indignation with me. Hey, I'm trying to save your life. But they don't be mad with Yahweh. No, their indignation gonna come my way. I'm the one they're gonna have a problem with. Go ahead.
The leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priest in the house of Yahweh, from beside the incense altar.
Right. Now, he trying to do something that he ain't got no business doing, and leprosy spring out in him as he's angry. Now, check this out. The leprosy didn't spring out as he was doing or trying to do the wrong thing. The leprosy sprung out when he got angry with the priest for telling him that he was doing something wrong. Pay attention. Go ahead.
And Azariah the chief priest, and all the priests look upon him, and behold, he was leprous in his forehead. And they thrust him out from thence.
Right. Yahweh made sure once they saw that leprosy, wasn't no more talking. You got to get up out of here now. You got to go now. That made sure that every last one of them got together and pushed him out. Go ahead.
Yea, himself hasted also to go out, because Yahweh had smitten him. And Uzziah the king was a leper unto the day of his death.
Right. Now look, it says, and he himself, at this point now, he angry with the priest, right? He got a problem because the priest done told him he doing something wrong. But then once he realized he became leprous, now he in a hurry to get out now. Right. Because he know Yahweh done something to him. Go ahead.
And dwelt in a several house, being a leper.
Now he's set aside. Go ahead.
For he was cut off from the house of Yahweh. And Jotham his son was over the king's house, judging the people of the land. Now the rest of the acts of Uzziah, first and last, did Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz, write. So Uzziah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the field of the burial which belonged to the kings. For they said, he is a leper. And Jotham his son reigned in his stead.
Right. So now he got to be separated from everybody else because he wanted to do something. The priest done told him, hey man, this is in the wrong order. Now Yahweh could have stopped him when he got ready to do it. But his leprosy and what separated him from the congregation wasn't his act. It was his evil thought process against the priest when the priest told him he was wrong. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 33. See, understand, the priest stand in Yahweh's stead. The priest have to stand the reproach of all the people who are angry with Yahweh. People ain't man or woman enough to just be honest. I got a problem with Yahweh. No. They're going to bring that to the man that they see. It's much easier to say that they got a problem with that man. And there are certain parts of Yahweh's law that people just don't like. And then when Yahweh doesn't give them certain understanding, they just think that they can fight until they get it. Let me tell you something. Those disciples did not have understanding when Yahshua said, eat my flesh and drink my blood. He went from 70 disciples to 12. The rest of the 70 left. They did not understand. The 12 didn't understand. And then Yahshua said, what, you gonna lead too? He said, man, where we gonna go? You got the words of life. They didn't understand. They was like, look, man, we got a dietary law. I can't eat no dude, man. I don't know what you talking about, man. I can't eat this cannibalism, but I don't really understand. But I tell you what, I ain't going nowhere. That's what happens when you decide that there's a jewel in this field and I'm gonna purchase this field. Now, I don't know exactly how to do it, but I'll figure it out as I go. That's the difference between that and the people that want everything to go their way before they take one step. You ain't never gonna take the step. Because you waiting for everything, for you to understand everything, for you to have all understanding before you take one step. I can tell you, you ain't never gonna step there. If a kid said, look, I ain't gonna start walking until I get walking down pat, you ain't never gonna walk there. ahead, bro. Ezekiel chapter 33, and let's start that at verse 1.
Again the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of your people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast, and set him for their watchman, if when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Right. So the watchman's job is to warn the people. It's not the watchman's job to make sure that the people do what they're supposed to do. I mean, he's got to make sure that they heard it, and he's got to do what he can in his power to get them to follow it. But at the end of the day, if a man really wants to be disobedient, he's going to be disobedient. Go ahead.
He heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away by his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
I will require that person's blood at the watchman's hand. So the watchman gonna pay because he did not warn that person. So if somebody want to come in and they say, look, I want to do such and such. No, you can't do that. But if I say, you know what? We need, more people in the congregation. Just come on. Don't tell nobody. I'll let you do it. Y'all would be like, oh, son, I need to show you something, boy. Bam! No, that ain't gonna happen to me. He said, I'm gonna require this at the watchman's hand. But guess what? The person gonna get dealt with too. See, this is the part that people missing. No, he ain't just gonna deal with the watchman. He gonna deal with the person and the watchman. So if I let you do something that you ain't got no business doing in Yahweh's Holy Convocation, both of us get called to the altar. Go ahead.
Verse 7. So you, O son of man, I have set you a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore you shall hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me.
So you are the watchman, not the one who sits on the wall and blows the horn. You are the watchman. Now warn them from me. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. He tells him the outcome of the watchman's job.
Right.
And then turns around and tells him, oh yeah, and you're him.
Exactly.
I don't want the job.
Exactly. He gives him all that. This is what, and gives him a natural, thanks to make sure you understand. He gave him a natural explanation, then gave him the spiritual job of being the watchman. Go ahead.
When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, you shall surely die. If you does not speak to warn the wicked man from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hand.
Right, because you didn't want to tell him. See? And see, you have to look at how hard that would be for people, because they'll be able to text, yeah, Yahweh said he gonna get you. All right, now, go tell him to his face. Well, I can't look at people's face and tell them that Yahweh said he gonna get him. I can. Yahweh gonna get you. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, if you warn the
Because
wicked...
if I don't, my salvation at stake. Ain't nobody trying to be mean to you. What happens is, people don't realize when somebody trying to save them. See, the person that's agreeing with you and letting you do what you want to do, that person don't love you. They want everything to be convenient and y'all to be cool with one another. They don't love you though. Because they're not trying to save you from the wrath of Yahweh. Go ahead.
You know, what people don't understand is just like with the situation we're talking about here. He didn't ask him if he wanted the job. He gave him the job.
Amen.
Go forth and do the job.
Exactly. But if you've been called to do something, the last thing you want to do is tell Yahweh he done made a mistake. What you think you were called for? But see, this is one of those things, man. It's like fulfill the purpose for which you've been called. Go ahead.
Verse 9. Nevertheless, if you warn the wicked of his ways to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but you have delivered your soul.
The watchman has delivered his soul just by warning the person. Go ahead.
Therefore, O you son of man, speak unto the house of Israel. Thus you speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, and we pine away in them, how should we then live? Say unto them, as I live, saith the Adonai Elohim, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn you from your evil ways, for why will you die, O house of Israel? Therefore, you son of man, say unto the children of your people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression.
Right. Don't nobody want to hear about the good things you did in 1976. It don't matter. The day that you decide to do wickedness, you have erased all the good that you did before. But see, that's not how people tell that today. You see, long as my good outweigh my bad, see, that's what I'm about. That's a lie. See? So what people think, you know, saying I did one thing evil yesterday, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two things good today, and that's going to level me off. Them lies and propaganda. See, that's what people want to tell you. That's man's balance scale. Yahweh's scale said, no, from the day you did evil, you erased all your good. There it is. There go your scale right there. You ain't got nothing on the other side of the scale. See, people keep thinking, no. See, I got good, and then I got my evil, and I just I balance my good and evil. See, that's why I keep an even scale with the Most High. Yeah, you can believe that if you want to. There's nothing on the other side of good. Once you did evil, you knocked everything else off the other side of that scale. That's Yahweh's wording, not mine. So once again, if you're angry about this, tell Yahweh. If you're not one of those people that like to talk to Yahweh, text it to him. Send it in the cloud. Go ahead.
As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turneth from his wickedness. Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinneth.
Right. This is his word, not mine. Go ahead.
When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trust to his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered. But for his iniquity that he has committed, he shall die for it.
Right. And it's the watchman's job to warn you of those things. But when people say, I ain't going to listen to the watchman, me and the watchman don't see eye to eye. Go ahead.
Again, when I say unto the wicked, you shall surely die, if he turn from his sin and do that which is lawful and right, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life, without committing iniquity, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of his sins that he has committed shall be mentioned unto him. He has done that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live. Yet the children of your people say, the way of the Adonai is not equal. But as for them, their way is not equal. When the righteous turneth from his righteousness and committeth iniquity, he shall even die thereby. But if the wicked turn from his wickedness and do that which is lawful and right, he shall live thereby. Yet you say, the way of the Adonai is not equal. O you house of Israel, I will judge you every one after his ways.
Everyone will be judged after his doings. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. When it says you will reap what you sow, whatever you plant, that's what you're going to grow. So you can't plant one fruit and look for another fruit. You ain't plant that fruit. You ain't gonna get that fruit. You plant evil, evil gonna grow. Now the problem is when we're dealing with in the righteousness of that, when we're dealing with that in spiritual deeds, by the time it's time for the spiritual fruit to come up, people have forgotten that they planted wickedness. See, that's the problem. See, we forgetful planners. See, while you all out sowing your royal oats and doing all your things and throwing all out them wicked seeds, then when you get some wicked plants later on in your life, why is this happening to me? Why? Who put this wicked plant here? You did. What? Yeah. When you planted those wicked deeds, this is the wicked fruit from the wicked seeds that you planted. Now deal with your little wicked plants and plant better seeds. But you planted those. You're going to get exactly what you planted. But see, because we're so forgetful, we've forgotten how those things got there. Matthew chapter 22, and let's read verses 1 through 14.
And Yahshua answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come.
Now, this is the kingdom of heaven is likened unto this. Okay? Go ahead.
Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come on to the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
Right. You know, this whole thing of the kingdom of heaven is not really that important unto them. See? Go ahead.
And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them.
Right. People do the same thing. You got servants of Yahweh who are teaching this word. Then you got people who are upset that they don't like certain parts of the word. So they slay the servants of Yahweh. Today we just slay them on Facebook. Go ahead.
But when the king heard thereof, he was angry, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burnt up their city. Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go you therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage.
Now, bid these people to this marriage, because the others that were called were not worthy. Go ahead.
So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good.
Bad and good.
And the wedding was furnished with guests.
Now they're guests at the wedding feast. Go ahead.
And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not a wedding garment.
Oh, wait a minute. He didn't get to come as he was? What the king asked for people to come to the wedding, so why he want them to have a wedding garment? See, the wedding garment is the spirit. But you don't get to come any old kind of way that you want to come. Go ahead.
And he saith unto him, Friend, how cameth you hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless.
And he was speechless. He don't have anything to answer for his soul. How you get in here without a wedding garment? This a wedding feast, right? So why are you not clothed for the occasion? When you go to play basketball, you wear a suit. When you go to change the toilet, did you put on your winter coat? No, you're clothed for the job at hand, right? So, if you're coming to worship and glorify Yahweh, shouldn't you be clothed for the occasion? I mean, there's some people that may not be able to get off work, and they may have to, rush from work and come directly here. So they might be in their uniform. But if that ain't the case, why would you be showing up here looking like you just got through changing your oil? On Yahweh's Holy Sabbath day. And why should you be looking like you just came from the club with your Get It Girl outfit on, coming here with all your chi-chis hanging out? Then you ain't gonna come up in here with that. Put the twins up. They don't get to run around up in here. That ain't gonna work up in here. And if the watchman allow it to happen, then he's in jeopardy as well. And I got my own stuff I got to answer for. I ain't got time to be answering for yours too. You got to carry your own bag of sin. I ain't got time to carry mine and yours too. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Right, many are called, they hear the word, but they're not chosen because they won't let the word dwell richly in their hearts. And because they are not clothed with humility, they are not clothed with the Spirit, they can't accept the things of the Word. They can't hear the things of the Word. Because that not being clothed with that humility, they can't hear the Word anyway. It don't matter what's read to them, they're not going to hear it. Because emotion blocks all of that. So you talk to people that's in a horrible relationship, they can understand that that relationship is horrible, and this dude is just bouncing them all across every wall in the house. But emotion won't let them do nothing about it. They can know every last part of what's wrong. They know it, but emotion won't let them accept it. That's the same thing with coming into this word. People can read something and see it in the book, but emotion won't let them accept it. Emotion is greater than intelligence. And when you deal with that, brother, go to Revelation 19 and verse 8. And I want you to read how important this clothing was. Because see, people think that this is just a natural thing, but you got to deal with that clothing in the natural and in the spiritual.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
It is the righteousness of saints. So when you're asking about this wedding garment, when you're talking about, this white linen, this is the righteousness of saints. There's a certain way you're supposed to be clothed at this wedding feast. Where's your righteousness? And you can't have any righteousness doing all of what you want to do. It don't work like that. Let's go to Matthew chapter 13. Matthew chapter 13, and let's read verses 44 through 58.
Verse 44. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man has found, he hideth, and for joy thereof he goeth and sells all that he has, and buyeth that field.
See, this is where people jeopardize their salvation, because they have decided that there's certain things that they want to hold on to. That field then becomes, it's not really that important to you. See, when you talk about this hidden treasure, it says again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a treasure hid in the field. So if you do want this kingdom of heaven, then it is so valuable unto you that you are willing to sell all that you have to purchase that field. That means get rid of all of those things, your past thought processes. See, people think this is about physical money. This is not about physical money. See, let him that has an ear hear what the Spirit says unto the church. See, to a lot of people, it's that very monetary thing that keeps them from accepting the truth of Yahweh. Because some people, as long as they got money, they don't need nothing. See, they don't have no reason to listen to Yahweh. Then you understand why Yahweh led Moshe to say, when the children of Israel, when they eat to the full, and when they get all of these things, and then they sin against me. Because see, it is known that once we get comfortable, we get a little bit more power to do some little bit more sinning. Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchantman seeking goodly pearls, who, when he has found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had and bought it.
Right. See, what is worth your salvation? It is amazing to me the trivial things that people will allow to block them from having their salvation. Some people just got to be right. And these things just block them from being able to attain unto their salvation. What thing is worth your salvation? What's your price? Go ahead.
Again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just.
Right. But the people don't know they're being gathered one way or another. See, the angels are separating men. But see, what people think is they either leaving on their own or they going a certain way on their own, not understanding that it's the angels that's separating them. So you find all of a sudden you got one unruly person and you got another unruly person. Before you know it, them two unruly people done click together and they off over here. Right. They don't understand that the angels are separating them. So all you evil brothers go over there. Y'all go over there to that church. That's the evil church over there. Go over there. All y'all go over there. Matter of fact, get you some more evil friends and all y'all can go over there. Because that way you can do what you want to do. You know, you can show up looking like shaggy dogs. You can do whatever you want to do. You know, you can party all night. Right. Going on over there. See, they think they're doing it on their own, but they don't understand that it's the angels separating them. Go ahead.
Verse 50. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahshua saith unto them, Have you understood all these things? They say unto him, Yes, Adonai. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven.
Every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom. People don't want to be instructed unto the kingdom. They want to be self-taught. See? See, that's why people like that term apostle. I used to wonder why people always get into all these titles, you know. It's the apostle, such and such and such and such. How you call yourself an apostle? Because apostles are supposedly directed by the Spirit and not taught by a man. That's why people want to be like the Apostle Paul, because he was not directed by another man. Here's the part they missing. Saul already had an education coming all the way up. He was a Pharisee. So he had already learned the word. He didn't come in dumb and then the Spirit just gave him all the understanding of the word. No, he was still taught by men. That's the part that people missing. See? There was still a learning process. Then the Spirit directed him. But the Spirit didn't just direct somebody. And can the Spirit do it? Yes, the Spirit can. But people like they like that apostle title because they don't want to be taught by somebody, because they don't want to be in subjection to any order. Go ahead.
You know, even interesting enough is that he himself even told you at that point in time, I learned from the best of the best.
Exactly. But people don't hear that part. They just think that Saul was just this free person who went off and did whatever he wanted to do. Yet when there were questions that he couldn't answer, he went back to Jerusalem and had to talk to Cephas, Peter, because he was the one who was given the keys to the church. And people don't understand the doctrine. Saul was sent to teach the Gentiles, not the Jews. There were Jews amongst the Gentiles, but that was not who he was sent to teach. The Gentiles were not given circumcision. They were not taught according to the law. So people then take the things that Saul wrote, not thinking about who he's talking to, and then they, being Jews, will apply everything that Paul wrote, not understanding who he was. He was the apostle to the uncircumcision. Peter was the apostle to the circumcision. But see, when you got them self-taught people, they don't understand that, but they're ready to teach. They're ready to go off. They all off teaching somebody and digging a pit and throwing everybody into that lake of fire with them. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 13 and verse 52. Then said he unto them, Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. And it came to pass that when Yahshua had finished these parables, he departed thence. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, whence has this man this wisdom and these mighty works?
Right, and people get upset with you when you ain't got the, right amount of papers. See, people got to be able to put their hand on how you know this. Go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter's son?
Understand something. Your occupation followed what your father was. So if your father was a carpenter, these are the things you learn how to do. How you up in here giving us, all this understanding? You supposed to be making tables. Go ahead.
Is not his mother called Mary, and his brethren, Jacob and Joseph, and Simeon and Jehudas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things?
Mm-hmm.
And they were offended in him. But Yahshua said unto them,
they were offended in him. See? They were offended in, well, you ain't got no degree. Go ahead.
a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
Right. This is why most of us have issues. A prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house. Among those people that you know, you're going to have the biggest problem with. Because when it comes time for change, they're going to be the ones reminding you of everything. You wasn't all that holy when you were shooting up James' house. Yeah, was you a priest then? Mm-hmm. Right. What about when Keisha and Shaquita came over here? Was you a priest then? Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, they're going to remind you of every bad thing you ever did in your life. Why? Because they are offended in you. They are offended in your change. They are offended in your growth. What do you mean you don't eat pork? You grew up eating pork. We don't eat pork. They're a pork family. Your mama ate pork. Your mama ate pork. Your mama ate pork. Who's talking about you eat pork? You better than us now? Right. Why? They're offended in your change. They're offended because you're bringing light to their situation. What do you mean you eat shrimp no more? Shrimp is delicious. What's wrong with you? What kind of coke you got yourself into? Right. They're offended in you. They're offended in your growth. See? They're worried. Why you gotta wear them long dresses all the time? I mean, you got nice legs. Why don't you show the world them pretty legs of yours? Oh, and mothers don't have no problem prostituting their daughters. Mothers will tell little girls in a minute, girl, you got a fat booty. Show everybody that fat booty. What you think they do when they put them little girls on them tights? And the mama got on some tights, and the daughter got on some tights, and it's a whole little tight family just walk, just booty, just walking all around and say, what the hell is this? The little girls are just like the mama. Tights all over the place. All of them look like they got on a workout outfit. They now one of them did one push-up. Right. Right. Prostituting the daughter? No, every man looking at him. Look at my baby. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She got a tail back there, don't she? What the hell are y'all doing? I'm talking about little girls. I'm going in the store and see 5, 7, 12-year-old girls with tights on. But then everybody got a problem when they said, somebody touched my daughter. Why did your daughter look like a stripper, though? Why your daughter look like a stripper going out the house? But then you upset. You want to make her look grown, but then you got upset that a grown man touched her. I'm not saying it justified it. But why you put on that uniform? You won't say she ain't a hoe, but she got on the whole uniform. I mean, you see a policeman, or you see somebody in a police uniform, you're going to assume he's a policeman. You see somebody in a fireman uniform, you're going, hey man, there's a fire down the street, you going to put this out? Oh, I'm not a fireman. What the hell you got on the uniform for? So when you see somebody in a whore's outfit, you assume you must be a hoe. Why? You got her outfit on. There's a culture that we were given. How you going to walk outside of the culture, but then want people to still respect you inside the culture? That ain't going to work. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 58. And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Their unbelief put him in a position where he would not do great things there. Consider that. What kind of unbelief do we have? But let us hit a conclusion of this matter. Let's go to Revelation chapter 3. And see, what you have to understand is Hebrew women didn't cover their face. If a Hebrew woman covered her face, she was a whore. That's why Judah didn't know who Tamar was. She covered her face. So that whole thing about a veil is covering a woman's face. No, Hebrew women don't cover their face. When Judah seen Tamar, he didn't know who she was. She covered her face. Whores covered their face. So when she became pregnant, he didn't even know that she was pregnant by him, because he wanted to seek some help for his whatever pain he was in. So he went and sought out a whore, not knowing that this was his daughter-in-law, who he had refused to give his youngest son to, because that woman was waiting for the next son so that son could marry her. And he didn't do that. So she sought about her own way, and she pretended to be a whore. So she covered her face, and he didn't understand and didn't know that that was her. So that people understand what a covering is, and that Hebrew women walking in our culture, that whole thing where you see those Muslim women and they ain't got nothing but the eyes out. We don't do that. We don't walk around looking like Darth Vader. Go ahead, man.
So she knew what outfit to put on to get the...
She knew what a whore looked like. She put on a whore's uniform. That way she got treated like a whore. Right. But see, folk put on their little see-through outfit and talk about, why you looking at me? Because you got on a whore's uniform. Revelation chapter 3.
And unto the angel of the church in Sardis write, these things saith he that has the 7 spirits of Elohim.
I'm sorry. Read verse 1 again.
And unto the angel of the church in Sardis write.
Read it again.
And unto the angel of the church in Sardis.
Right. There's an angel over that church. Okay. 1 Corinthians 11 says that a woman should have power on her head because of the angels. What do you think we do when we sanctify the congregation? We invite the angel that stands at the door to come in and sup with us. So why would you think that you can come in the congregation where the angel has been called without power on your head? But you got people that want to jump in and out of this New Testament as it suits them. Understand, in the Old Testament, none of you women would even be in here. But people don't want to consider that. Go ahead.
These things saith he that has the 7 spirits of Elohim and the 7 stars. I know your works, that you has a name, that you liveth and are dead. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found your works perfect before Elohim.
I have not found your works perfect before Elohim. So you can't do things for Yahweh and think that he's supposed to accept that. Go ahead.
Remember therefore how you have heard, how you have received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore you shall not watch, I will come unto you as a thief, and you shall not know what hour I will come upon you.
Right. So for those that say, well, I'm going to get it right later. Right. Your later going to be today. So you don't know what day your life shall be called upon you. And in that whole thing, well, I'll figure this out later. Your later might be already over. Then what you going to do? Go ahead.
You have a few names even in Sardis which have not defiled their garments.
Defiled their garments. See, that wedding garment is the righteousness. You don't get to show up at the wedding whatever you want. Dressed however you want. Go ahead.
And they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy.
White is empty. It has absolutely nothing else in it. Go ahead.
He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels.
When we deal with the things of Yahweh, we are told to confess our sins one to another. But when we deal with corporate America, the first thing they tell us, don't admit anything. You get in a car accident, the insurance company tell you, don't admit fault. Yeah, but I ran the light and ran over their car and flipped it over. I know, but it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. Right? Right. So some of us take that same corporate America mindset and we come right into Yahweh Holy Convocation. It wasn't my fault. Yeah, but you heard what you did. It wasn't my fault. Yeah, but you was the one that did something. But it wasn't my fault. Right. Go ahead.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, right?
Just so people didn't think it was just one angel over one church. So now you go into the next church, and it's an angel over that church too. All right, now go back to what we read in the oracles. Behold, I send an angel to lead you in the way. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression. So you think you can do whatever you want to do after we have invited the angel? Go ahead.
These things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of Dawid, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it, for you have a little strength, and has kept my word, and has not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yehudis, and are not, but do lie.
Right. Because now, people like to apply this to only the fake Jews. But then you have some bloodline children of Israel that they gather and make them gatherings to themselves, their little other gatherings, and then with their little gatherings, that they won't call it a church, so they think it's better to call it a gathering. That way, they don't have to follow any rules. Right, they're the synagogue of Satan. And they full blood Hebrew. And they synagogue of Satan too. And Yahweh gonna make them bow at your feet. Go ahead.
Behold, I'll make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim.
Him that overcomes. You have something to overcome. But if you run and hide every time there's any kind of growth point, what have you overcame? If you still the same way and still have the same mindset and still deal with everything the same way you did when you came into this word, what have you overcome? Go ahead.
And he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my Elohim, and I will write upon him my new name.
Right. And you keep seeing how Yahshua is differentiating between him and the Father. Yet, what we were taught on Sunday morning, that the Messiah is God. So, that twisted mindset is thinking the Son in the name of the Father, who they think is the Son. So they think the Father and the Son, they don't really understand the levels. They don't understand that Elohim is plural. El is singular, Elohim is plural. It says, let us make man. But see, because people refuse to be taught and they want to be self-guided, they take all of those misunderstood things and throw them in a pot and come up with a whole nother doctrine. Go ahead.
Verse 13. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, write.
Now, another angel, another church. Because people say, well, see, my church ain't got no angel. That's why we can come with our head uncovered. That means you worship the devil. Go ahead.
These things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Elohim. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I would you were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew you out of my mouth.
Cold has a purpose. Hot has a purpose. Lukewarm gets you spit out of his mouth. You ain't even, what are you good for? Lukewarm has no purpose whatsoever. Go ahead.
Because you say, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing. I knoweth not that you are wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked.
It's hard to explain to people that they are poor, miserable, and naked when their bank account got a few zeros behind it. Who you talking about? I'm poor. Well, you see my statement, boy? You see my statement? You talking to? Right. You poor. Go ahead.
I counsel you to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that you mayst be rich, and white raiment, that you mayst be clothed, and that the shame of your nakedness do not appear.
Right. The shame of your nakedness appear when people see your actions. When they see how you operate, that's the shame of your nakedness. When they are able to see what things have been done by you, your nakedness appears. See, what's happening now with all of the things that's all of a sudden being broadcast of how us as people are being treated here in America, her shame is being put out to the world. And then the Olympics just happen to be in a city that's also greatly connected with slavery and has many black people there. Your plight is starting to be put on a worldwide stage. Right. Go ahead.
And anoint your eyes with eye salve, that you may see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent.
Read that again.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten.
If he don't rebuke you or punish you, you are not a child of Elohim. And you have people, they don't want to be corrected. They don't want to be rebuked. Soon as you rebuke them, you are of some other kind of spirit. You this and you that. You don't understand something. You don't want to be corrected. You're in the wrong place. Yahweh corrected Cephas while still giving him the keys to the church. Turn around and tell him, get thee behind me, Satan. By the way, you go the keys to the church. Well, you just call me Satan, brother. What I'm supposed to do these keys? What I'm supposed to do these keys? Is these Satan keys? Right. Right. But Jake, we so puffed up, can't nobody tell us nothing. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. But it is clear that everybody does not have an ear. And that emotional blockage will keep us from being able to receive the things of the Spirit. People can read things, and I have had conversations with people, and they say, yeah, I acknowledge that that is what the Word says. But, right. But see, my church is like a family. See, and I've been part of that family for a long time. Right. Y'all ain't got no problem throwing the whole family in the lake of fire. It's okay. Y'all hold hands and see if y'all can throw y'all in the fire at the same time. See if y'all get, if the lake of fire got a buddy system. See if that work out for you. But at the end of the day, every man gonna have to answer for his own deeds. So why people like to deal with this buddy system, if they buddy get mad, or if they buddy get this, then I'm going to leave with my buddy. Guess what? Your buddy not going to be there when it's time for judgment. It's just going to be you. You going to have to deal with your actions. Your buddy not going to be there. So let every man be convinced in his own heart and in his own mind whether or not he is going to adhere to the things that Yahweh has set forth for the children of Israel to do, because we carry a holy name. The name of Israel is a holy name. Yahweh gave us Israel before he gave us Yahweh. We were named after Israel. This is a holy name. You don't get to carry it any kind of way. You don't get to do all kind of evil and then turn around and say, I'm an Israelite. Now you have blasphemed the holy name of Yahweh. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.